Serious? How did you respond after your ex wanted you back after leaving you? I told her I can't be with her again after knowing how she really feels about me. Then she started crying and saying she couldn't stand me being alone without her, and for some reason this made me really upset. All I could say was, why are you crying? I will be fine without you. This is what you wanted. Ran into my ex a couple months after she broke it off with me for someone else. We ran into each other at a bar. She approached me while I was buying drinks and made some comment about the girl I was there with. She then said something like, if it doesn't work out or you get bored with her, hit me up. I laughed and said okay. She asked if I was being sarcastic. I was, and walked away after that. My wife left me for a fat neo-Nazi skinhead meth dealer. It was definitely a blow to my ego. We had just moved to a new state and I had just started a new job. It took me about 6 months to get my shit together and quit beating myself up. I had become a star employee at the job, lost 20 pounds, got custody of the kids and a new girlfriend. About a year goes by and the girlfriend and I break it off. It wasn't an angry breakup, I just didn't have a ton of time for her since I had my kids. Well, my ex-wife finds out we broke up. She comes strolling over to my place while the kids are at school, breaks open a bag of chips, and starts rattling off a list of a bunch of things I need to change about myself if I want to get back together with her. A few moments passes silence. I laugh, open my door and tell her to get out. The look on her face. Crushed expectations? Failed dreams? I still laugh when I think about it. You have permission to ask me out again. What? Actually laughs in his face. He was at my place picking up his furniture at the time as he was moving to his new place with a girl he cheated on me with. Why he thought that was the best time to discuss trying to rekindle our relationship, I'll never know. She initially called me, from another college, to tell me she thought we should see other people. A month later she called me to say she hadn't found anyone better, so we were a couple again. I politely told her I was seeing someone. That was the day that I learned that we should see other people meant I should see other people while you wait around for me to maybe come back. She also used all sorts of descriptors for the girl I was then seeing, and told me it wouldn't last, because rebound relationships never do. She didn't know that this girl and I had been trying not to fall in love, because I already had a girlfriend, and my ex inadvertently gave us the opportunity. That rebound relationship started almost exactly 20 years ago, and we've been married for 17.5 years. My girlfriend and I had a great laugh at the text my ex sent. I know you don't want to be with her. Come back to me, I love you. She broke up with me due to her cheating on me. Text came 6 months later. She broke up with me sort of out of the blue, and I wasn't really prepared for it. Never quite got over her, but time passed, and I was living with a girlfriend several years later. My ex had kept in touch with me, and we were still friendly. She went through a breakup and I suppose she was emotionally vulnerable. Started talking to me a lot out of the blue and began to tell me all sorts of things about how she regretted breaking up with me, and it was just immature insecurities that had led her to it, and how jealous she was that she couldn't have me. As flattering as it was to hear all of that, I was still spoken for, so I kindly deflected the issue until she got her head on straight and mellowed out, got her life together, that sort of thing. We're still friends 7 years after that, and presumably, she's moved on. At least I hope she has, since she's looking at buying a house with her fiance. She was sitting there pregnant with some other bloke's kid. Sucks to be you. I can't love two people at once. Then the cheating itch proceeded to complain that I moved on too fast. Told her to frick off. She put me through hell, then found somebody better. When he dumped her not even a month later, she tried to rekindle our relationship. She has yolk on her face or whatever that saying is. Hey, can we? No. Call ended. Huh? Can we talk? Me. You're okay. Huh? He cheated on me. You're my only friend in the area. Me. You don't have any friends in the area. I did a lot for her to get her life started. She slept fricked with some mutual friend in my bed while I was at work. Frick that noise. We dated for 3 years in high school. I was 19 at the time we broke up. We were broken up for 6 months. I took her back for about 2 weeks. When my dad noticed she was coming around again, he gave me the best advice I have ever gotten. My dad told me don't sleep with her until you are 100% sure she is clean and not pregnant. For once, I listened to my dad's advice. Turns out she was a little over a month pregnant, not showing at all, and was planning on penning it on me. I'll never forget her crying, "I thought you loved me enough for this not to matter," as I kicked her out of my house. It hurt terribly. I did love her, but Jesus, I was only 19 and in college. No thanks, I'll find another. Plus in that 6 months we were apart, I met the best group of friends a guy could ask for, which really made it that much easier now that I knew there was life beyond that one girl. If none of the guys at your new college want to date you, I'm not sure I want to either. My ex only wanted me back when I told him I was going to go on a date with someone else. This was after he had 12 affairs in the span of our 8-year relationship, then left me seemingly at random. He cried and threatened to kill himself. I was very calm and gentle with him, and told him I would like us to keep being friends, as we had been in the last 6 months since he dumped me. He kept telling me I was the best person on the planet, and that no one but him would ever make me happy or treat me right. Ha 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 ha. Then he punched my bed frame. I said I wasn't going to compromise my happiness for his, which I had done for many years, and he blatantly asked me to just pretend, and said I'd never winged about my happiness before, and he couldn't believe that I was so selfish, and I was half the person he thought I was. He cried some more. For the first time in my life, I stuck to my guns. Then he called me a whore. Joke's on him. Went out with the other guy. Fell madly in love. Am now deliriously happy. Ex's next girlfriend cheated on him. Horrified. I couldn't put myself through that pain all over again, knowing there was a good chance he would change his mind again and leave for a second time. Plus I was resentful that he broke up with me, because he didn't want to deal with a medical issue I had. Someone that bails at the first sign of weakness is not a good candidate to build a life with. We started talking on the phone regularly again and planning a visit. We were 2 hours apart, and then I went to add him as a friend on Facebook and found out he had a girlfriend. So like the classy lady I am, I drank 2 Old English 800s, called him up, and cried at him until he started crying too. Then he moved to another country and I met my husband. Him. I don't even remember why we broke up. Me. I believe you dumped me because a girl fell asleep on you and you dumped me to ask her out. And she said no. Him. Oh yeah. Me. Yeah. Anyway, nice talking, bye bye. LOL. To this day, she still hasn't replied, but she had a kid since I sent that text, and that was about 7 years ago. She broke up with me because I got glasses and wasn't attractive enough for her. Few years later and I'm wearing contacts and had grown into myself a little better and suddenly she's texting me again. Ironic thing is she was recently single because she gained weight and her boyfriend didn't find her attractive anymore. I just laughed at the schadenfreude and told her to stop contacting me. We got back together. It was good for a while and then we broke up again. I told her I had to think about it and that maybe we could just be friends. Then we got together for some kisses and we were back at it again. I ended up breaking up with her about 6 months later. When she broke up with me, we were out and about and I had to drive her home. It was a little awkward and I wasn't saying anything. She assumed I was raging mad and suicidal, and that I was about to drive the truck into a tree. If that tells you anything about her crazy level, I wasn't. I was kind of relieved actually. She sent a friend to check up on me about a month into our breakup, because she was still under the impression that I was suicidal following her dumping me. I told her friend that my ex shouldn't flatter herself thinking I was suicidal over her. I guess those were the magic words, because she was asking for me back within about 2 weeks. I'm glad that relationship's over. Well, it was more or less a mutual agreement. A year later we started talking again and she said she'd like to start again. It went this way. Me. Do you really think there's any chance for this to work out? Her. Yes. Why not? Me. Give me one reason to believe that. Her. Legend says she's still thinking. It was a Friday night when she asked to meet up at the local mall. I ended up picking up a game, Castlevania, my love, while we were there. We ended up going back to house and watching movies. She ended up asking if I would be willing to be her boyfriend again. I said yes, despite my instincts telling me not to. That night, I ended up going tobogganing with a group of friends. I ended up smashing through a fence and don't remember much of the night. Ended up with a concussion, long hospital visit, blah blah. Anyways, she calls me the next day and the biggest bullshitter on the world took over my body. Before she could even speak I was yelling into the phone, "Whoa, long time no talk, what have you been up to?" She was chit-chatty and asked about my day. I told her I got a new game and a concussion the night before, and that's all I remember. She cried on the phone and insisted we spent the day together. But I insisted how crazy and unlike me that was. Said I missed her, had makeup Shreks, and then told her that I couldn't do it. It was how she broke up with me, and I wanted her to know how it felt. Happened a long time ago, and yes, I know it's freaking childish. A week beforehand she had gone out of her way to tell me about how she never really loved me and how there were always other guys that she had more feelings for. She said that she only ever dated me because I was so caring and nice, but that she never had any real feelings for me like she does for and. She actually gave me examples of guys that she had adamantly defended as just friends while we were dating, but I wasn't that naive at least. I got pissed right off and she acted like it was totally casual to drop that on me for no reason after a hard breakup. Then she goes and gets rejected by those guys in pretty humiliating ways, so much so that I heard about it from a friend of my roommates who didn't even know that I had any connection with her. Then she comes crying back to me for emotional support. I laughed on the inside, but played along. One night she asked me to come over and we ended up having Shreks, and as soon as I was done I just grabbed my clothes and left while she was still trying to get herself off. By the time I got home I had about a dozen messages. Told her I don't really like her, and that I only liked her for the fact that she had Shreks with me. Yeah, petty and childish as frick, but I still think she deserved it. Just now I probably won't do it and just attempt to be the bigger man.